Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. To check it, all of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Am I audible? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Good morning, guys. And check it what we completed there in the last session. In the last class, we completed Java features part we completed there in the last session. And today we are going to understand like what the Java naming conventions. All right, now we are going to understand like what the Java naming conventions. See, observe carefully. What is the meaning of the Java naming conventions? Why these Java naming conventions are available for us? Now try to understand it clearly. Java is a case-sensitive programming language. Sir, what is this Java? No, Java is a case-sensitive programming language. What is the meaning of case-sensitive programming language? What's your understanding about the case-sensitive programming language? If you observe this, where in Java applications there is a separate recognition for lowercase letters and uppercase letters. There is a separate recognition for lowercase letters and uppercase letters. Small ABC not equals to capital ABC. Answer my point. So lowercase letters are different, uppercase letters are different. There is a separate recognition for lowercase letters and uppercase letters that we have to understand clearly. Okay, fine. Then what next one here after this, after understanding this point here? But the point is what, where we have to use lowercase letters and where we have to use uppercase letters. That is a question now. Where we have to use lowercase letters and where we have to use uppercase letters. To use these lowercase letters and uppercase letters separately, Java has provided a set of rules and regulations. Java has provided a set of conventions. What conventions that Java is providing? Observe carefully. In Java applications, to use lowercase letters, and uppercase letters, Java has provided the following conventions. What conventions that Java has provided there? Let's understand this clearly. The conventions that I'm telling to you. Point number one. Everybody observe carefully. Point number one. Observe carefully. In Java, we are going to write programming with classes, abstract classes, interfaces, and enums. In Java, we are going to write programming. We are going to provide programming with classes, abstract classes, interfaces, enums. They are the top level components. Okay, here the point is what? All Java classes names, abstract classes names, okay, interfaces names, and enums names must start with an alphabet, must start with uppercase letter, and the subsequent symbols are also be uppercase letters. Examples I'm telling there. If you have in a single class, for example, if you have multiple words, first word, first symbol, uppercase letter. Second word, first symbol, uppercase letter. Third word, first symbol, uppercase letter. In every word, first symbol is what there? Uppercase letter only. In every word, first symbol, every word starting symbol is what there? Uppercase letter only. This is rule number 1. Example I'm telling to you, string is a class name in Java. Is a single word. In the single word, S is a capital, uppercase letter. String buffer, two words are available here, where string started with S uppercase letter and buffer started with uppercase letter B. Next one is input stream reader. Input stream reader. Overall, 3 words are available. Input stream reader. I is a capital in input, S is capital in stream, and R is capital in reader. Like this, in every class, in every abstract class, in every interface, in every enum, every word, starting symbol must be an uppercase letter. Understand it clearly now. Next one is, after that, rule number 2, observe carefully. All Java variables names, all Java variables after the classes, the next frequently used Java programming element is what their variables. Okay, all Java variables names must be or must start with a lowercase letter, must start with a lowercase letter, and the subsequent symbols must be uppercase letter, and the subsequent symbols must be uppercase letters. All Java variable names must start with lowercase letter, and the subsequent symbols must be what their uppercase letters. Let's see an example here. For example, if you have a variable which has multiple words, first word, first symbol should be lowercase. Second word, first symbol, third word, first symbol, and so on. Next, all words, first symbols must be what their uppercase letters. See some example. In single word, where I should be lowercase letter. Out is a single variable where O must be what their lowercase letter. Next one is ERR is a lowercase letter where E must be lowercase letter, and so on. Next one is page context. 2 words are available. In these 2 words, page context. In the page, P must be lowercase letter, and in the context, C must be uppercase letter. Body content. 2 words are available. In a body, B must be lowercase, and in a content, C must be what there? Uppercase letter. Similarly, if you want to take something else like what there, temp, EMP, ADDR, like this, 3 words are available. Temp, EMP, ADDR. In temp, T is what there? Lowercase. In EMP, E must be uppercase. In ADDR, A must be uppercase. Like this, we are able to have some content. This is variables convention here we have to understand. Same conventions are available for methods also. Same conventions are available for what their methods also. Understand my point clearly? Now point number 3. All Java methods names must be started with a lowercase letter. Must be started with a lowercase letter. And the subsequent symbols must be uppercase letters. The same, whatever the rule we have seen, in the case of these variables, no, same rule is available. If we have multiple words in a single method name, first word, first symbol should be lowercase, second word, first symbol, third word, first symbol, then every word, first symbol, every word, first symbol must be like what there, an uppercase letter. Observe carefully. All right, sir. Now see this one. Concat is a method wherein concat C is a small. Next one is for name is a method. Two words are available. In a for, F is what there, lowercase, and in a name, S is what there, uppercase. Get input stream method. Three words are available. Get, G is a small. In input, I is a uppercase letter. In a stream, S is what there, uppercase letter. All of you observe carefully. Like this here, we can take like what there, all the methods names now. Next one is after this. In Java, all constant variables must be provided in uppercase letters only. Constant variables are available, normal variables are available, and constant variables are available. These constant variables are public static final variables. All these public static final variables or constant variables must be represented in uppercase letters only. All constant variables must be provided in uppercase letters only. Say for example, in a thread class, we have some properties like what there, min priority, norm priority, max priority, like this. So many rules and regulations are available. Min priority, norm priority, max priority, and so on. In Java, all constant variables must be provided in uppercase letters only. Min priority, norm priority, and max priority. Next one is last one. In Java, all packages names must be provided in lowercase letters. All packages names must be provided in lowercase letters only. In Java, all packages names must be provided in lowercase letters only. Examples, we can understand it clearly. Java.io, Java x.awt.event. Next one is Java x.servlet.jsp.tag.ext. All the things are available in like what their lowercase letters. So all packages names must be provided in lowercase letters. All of you observe carefully what I'm telling to you. First of all, Java naming conventions here we started. What is the meaning of it now? Java is a case-sensitive programming language, where in Java applications there is a separate recognition for lowercase letters and uppercase letters. Both are not same. Here I've given immediately one point here. Small ABC is not equals to capital ABC. In Java applications, to use lowercase letters and uppercase letters, Java has provided the following conventions. What are the various conventions here which are provided here? All Java classes names, abstract classes names, interfaces names, and enums names must start with the uppercase letters, and the subsequent symbols must also be uppercase letters. Alright, sir. Now here we can understand clearly string buffer input stream reader. In a string S is capital, in a string buffer S and B are uppercase letters. In input stream reader I, S, R are what their uppercase letters. All Java variables names must start with a lowercase letter and the subsequent symbols must be uppercase letters. In, out, error, page context, body content, temp, emp, addr. All Java methods names must be started with a lowercase letter and the subsequent symbols must be uppercase letters. Alright, now here what we are getting there, concat for name get input to stream, like this here we are getting it. In concat C is small, in for name F is small and N is capital. In get input stream G is small, I is a capital and S is a capital. In Java, all constant variables must be provided in uppercase letters only. Min priority, norm priority, and max priority. In Java, all package names must be provided in lowercase letters only. Java.io, Java.awt.event, Java x.servlet.jsp.tag.ext. So these are the points that we have to understand about the lowercase letters and uppercase letters, where to use, where we have to use these things clearly. But one small note here I'm telling there, observe carefully, all of you know. Understand it clearly. The above conventions are mandatory to follow. The above conventions are mandatory to follow while using predefined library. These conventions are mandated to follow while using predefined library, predefined variables, predefined methods, predefined classes. All the predefined elements are provided as per these conventions only. Okay. These are optional. These are optional while using user-defined libraries. Not while using. These are optional for user-defined libraries. User-defined libraries, but suggestible for user-defined libraries also. But suggestible for what their user-defined libraries also. So the point is what? While writing predefined classes, predefined abstract classes, predefined interfaces, these are mandatory to follow. But when we are, whenever we want to define our own class, then we no need to follow these conventions. Directly we can use lowercase letters wherever we want. Wherever we want to put uppercase letter, there we can put. In the case of like further user-defined library. But even for user-defined library also, these conventions are suggestible. Suggestion only, not mandatory condition. But for predefined library, it's a mandatory condition. That's it. Now this is that information here I'm telling to you. Try to recognize this clearly. So example I'm telling there for this, for that note, one example here I'm telling to you. Understand this example. Class, for example, string str is equal to new string of ABC. Exception E is equal to new exception, semicolon. Thread T is equal to new thread, semicolon. All these are like what their predefined library. Must follow this. Valid. This also be valid. Valid. For example, string buffer SB is equal to new string buffer. If you want to follow this is invalid. Why, sir? Why it is invalid there? Now tell me. String buffer is what? Predefined or user defined? Predefined. If it is predefined, no, every word must be started with an uppercase letter. But here what we provided here, no, lowercase letters here we provided. So this is invalid. So compilation error here we are able to get some error. Order it may be. That compilation error may be anything, but we are going to get what there? Some compilation error. Got it or not? Okay, leave this one. Another example here I'm telling there. These are predefined libraries. Now, this time class employee, I declare this status is valid. It's valid, but not suggestible. Say for example, class employee status is valid and suggestible. Valid and what next one again? No, suggestible. Clear to all of you know? So this is user-defined library. Syntactically, both are valid. Even with a small e or capital E, it's okay. But small e for class name is not suggestible. Capital E for class name is what they're suggestible. User-defined library. Employee is not predefined class. That is user-defined class now. Okay, in that way, here we are going to understand it clearly. Right, sir. Now, finally, Java naming conventions. That part is completed here. That conventions will come again and again. Different conventions will come again and again throughout the Java. There we are going to discuss that conventions, the topic there clearly in the future. Okay, sir. Good. Leave this point here. After this, after completion of this particular one, another point is like what there. What about this another one here? Next topic is Java programming format. Java programming format. Java programming format. What is this programming format? What exactly the programming format is available for Java? That means my point is what there, to prepare a simple Java application, Java program, to prepare simple, even not complex, not any enterprise application, a simple core Java program, if you want to prepare, what exactly the structure here we have to follow inside the Java file. To prepare a simple Java program, we have to use the following format in a Java files. Before that, I'm asking one point here. If you want to write C program, there we have to follow some structure, some format here we have to follow. What is that format there in general? First we have to write hash define statements. Next one is what there, hash include statements. After that we have to define macros if you have any macros. Otherwise we have to provide structures. After these structures, then what next one? User defined functions. And finally main function. That means there are some steps clearly. Some format is available. Similarly, to prepare Java application in a Java file, what format here we have to use? To prepare Java applications, what exactly the format we have to follow in a Java file to write our code here now. Alright, now for that I'm going to give one small diagram, try to understand this clearly. The Java programming format contains nearly 5 phases. What are the 5 phases are available here? First one is comment section. First one is what there? Comment section. Next one is package section. Then after this, import section. Next one is classes or interfaces section. The next one is main class section. Like this overall, these many phases here we are able to have. Try to understand it clearly. Alright, sir. First one is like what I am telling there. Comment section, package section, import section, classes or interfaces section. This is exactly like what their programming format. Now here our responsibility is also be like what there. Understanding each and every section is our requirement. Now first of all, observe carefully. Out of all these sections, comment section is optional. Comment section is optional. Package section is optional. Import section is optional. Classes or interfaces section is optional. Main class section is mandatory. Main class section is what there? Mandatory. Without main class and main method, we are unable to prepare our applications. Understand it clearly. So these are the optional, these are mandatory cases in this particular diagram. Right, sir. Next one is, first here we have to understand comment section. What is this comment section here? What is the purpose of this comment section? If you observe this point is very simple, try to understand it now. You know already in Java application development, observe carefully, in Java application development, before writing code, I have a Java file. In that Java file, I'm ready to start my code. But before writing code, it is a convention to provide some description about the project. It's convention to provide some description about the project. about the project that includes other name in the sense developer name, which developer is preparing this implementation, other name, objective of the implementation, for what purpose we are writing this code, what we are going to achieve through this particular code. Okay, if possible, project details, if possible, modules details, and if possible, like what there, project details and module details, and so on and so on and so on. Some other details, anything about our project. This is the minimum convention to provide some description about our application. Why, sir? Why this content is required? Why this is suggestible? Why it is a convention? Why it is required to specify some details about our project? No, multiple advantages are available. Advantage number one. Listen careful. If you provide some description before writing the code, now, in general, what is going to be happen in the development part? First of all, we are going to prepare our application. After preparing our application, you might be check your application whether it is running properly or not. All right, that is developer level testing that you are able to do. After that, you will send that entire implementation to the coding testers. Testers will test that application. When testers will identify some bugs there, some problems there, they'll prepare some test cases. They'll send back that test case and as well as that entire code to the developer. Now, what developer has to do? Developer has to go to the location where problems are identified. He has to rectify the problems. Not or not. But when developer is going to a particular resource, particular Java file, where developer must identify the problem or not. But if we want to identify the problem, first he should know what exactly the purpose of writing this code or not. Some details he has to get or not. From where he able to get all the details? No, from the description. If you provide the description, then the developer is able to get some details from our respective implementation. Then it is very easy for the developer to rectify the problem. Point number one. Okay, point number two, for example, okay, developer work is completed, testing is also be okay done at the developer level. Testing, unit testing is completed there. Developer send that code to the tester and the tester is also be completing or whatever it may be. Finally, he submitted his work to some manager, for example. Team leader, manager might be submitted his work, for example. Then what the team lead wants to do, he wants to monitor your code. You want to check your code in some one or two areas. He requires some dependency. Because of the dependency, just he want to open it, he want to check the code. That means he is not the developer who is implementing that code. Might be is another person there. Of course, he is a team lead. Of course, he is a manager, whoever it may be. But he is another person who is not did not develop that code. He is some other person there. But he has to open the code. If you want to review that code, you need some information about your implementation or not. On an instant, if you want to check that your code there, definitely he needs some information, some details about your code or not. On every Java file, he will not call to you. He will not. You will not go there. You will not explain the code. Then when he open that code, immediately he has to get some information about that respective code. There also be what is required, some description. If you provide there, then other person can review that code easily. Get my point or not? If you're not providing any description, then that other person will get somewhat confusion at the time of reviewing that code. Understand it clearly? So that there also be we require some description. Understand it clearly? No? Okay, fine. This is another point here. I'm telling them. Next, third example, third point here. Understand it clearly. Being the software engineer, how long you are going to work with your project there? How long you are going to work with your company? 6 months. Project maybe it may be 1 year or maybe 2 years or 3 years. That doesn't matter. Yeah, around. No. My question is not that. My question is what? How long you are going to with your company as being a software engineer? Do you think about it? Maybe next to 20 years I want to work with this company. My entire life is sacrificing with this company only. You want to do that? Nobody will do that. If at least 50,000 more salary if you are getting there from the current company, the next minute prepare resume and apply for the job. Understand my point? Notice period may be 1 month or 2 months of time that we will calculate it. Then everything will calculate it and will apply for other company there. Definitely. See, the point is what? See, everything is business, sir. Don't think about it, ethics and all these kind of overaction statements. No, these are not at all worked out in software industry. Ethics, no ethics. The point is very clear. Companies are doing business on the head of you. You are doing business with the companies. At the end, clients are doing some business with the public. Everything is related with money. If the developer is getting sufficient money, is okay. Is going to work with that company up to some years of time. If developers are not having sufficient money, definitely they'll look for some other company. But always developer mindset is not like this. Now at present, the time is recession time. Developer will not demand to the company. Companies will demand to the developer. We have to work 1 more hour. Now the situation is different. But if the situation is good, going on very good recruitments and outside might be scarcity is there for the resources. No, if it is a case there, definitely developers will demand it. And best example I'm telling there, just almost all. It was in Corona time, I think so. Pandemic situation. Actually, one of my friend is not friend, is my relative who is working with iOS. Actually, iOS domain. He was there. Android, not Android. I was down. iPhone technology. I was like a developer. So initially, he worked with a company. Almost 2 years of time, he worked with a particular company. In mobile domain, it's okay. Somewhat salaries are good. So he worked with that company. As per my awareness, per annum might be he has committed for that is a 7 lakhs per annum. 2 years of experience, I think so. 7 lakhs per annum he got there. Almost 2 years of time he worked there. Okay, then with initially might be with some amount of money, I think so. Then 4 or something else, no, 4 or 5, some I don't know. But finally, when he completed his work with that company, when he completed 2 years of time with that company, his salary was 7 lakhs. Directly went to the HR might be, he asked her that now my contract, my 2 years of bond is completed here. Just I want to leave from company like this. Formalities he want to go there. The company said to him, don't go from the company, don't leave from the company there. Just we are going to increase your salary like this. Okay, then 10 to 15 days of time he waited there. Then again he went to the HR. He asked her there, how much you want to give increment, please confirm to me. Otherwise, I have so many opportunities in outside. Okay, then immediately what he has done there. Meanwhile, actually, he's a student of mine only. He attended my classes in Java. Then he was in regular in touch with me. Of course, his room is also besides to my home only. Regularly, we are in touch with me. He's giving this conversation every day with me. That's okay. Even myself also we understood that clearly. Then what happened there? Next minute, then he attended for some interview in some other company. They said to him, they want to give 10 lakhs per annum. Then immediately he shown that offer letter to this present company. This is my status. Then how much you want to give? Just please confirm it. If you confirm it, then I will think about it. Okay, they said to him, then we want to give the 10 lakhs rupees, don't worry for it. But what he said to me, other companies give 10 lakh rupees. No, again we are saying that 10 lakhs, no, how it is possible? Try to increase more. In the same company, 7 lakh to 11 lakhs directly was settled there. Understand it now? Okay, fine. 11 lakhs is a story. Again, after 5 to 6 months of time, 5 to 6 months of time, I understood. I recognize it. 5 to 6 months of time only. Then other company is a good company. I think the company name I forgot it. A good company in the mobile development. That good company. They offering nearly 14 lakhs to him. Immediately jumped. Of course, now his salary may be more than that. I'm telling the almost 2 to 2.5 years back. The situation. It may be increased again. No. So this is a play with the companies. When it is a case, no. If we do the same play with the companies, no, what companies will do there? Kick off. No second thought. Now at present, the situations are going on like this. But by the time scarcity, developers are required. So that's why then developer can play the game. But now companies are playing the game. At present, the situation is somewhat different, difficult. See, so this is totally depends on what there, some other. Anyway, now coming to our point again. But as a fresher, you should not do this kind of play with the companies. Please remember this. I think majority of your freshers can know. Don't use Balkrishna dialogues to the company HRs. No. Otherwise, they will reversely they will play to you. See, downing a student might be downing a student is a matter of 1 minute, right? In the interview hall, right? but don't do this kind of thing. The interviewer is always respectable, always is in a position to ask the questions, always you are in a position to answer for the questions. Understand it here. Who is more commanding person there? No, interviewer or student? Definitely interviewer is a more commanding person here. So you should listen his words, you should answer for his words clear. Understand my point, Kano? So don't then one more best example I had there, but at some other time I will discuss with you due to the lack of the time. But final conclusion, what I'm telling there, don't use hash words and don't to show your aggressiveness to that interviewer by watching YouTube videos. In YouTube videos might be an attitude. If you type there, so many interview videos are coming there. Maybe some I watched one YouTube one video there. There what happened, that interviewer is coming to this might be interviewer is calling that each and every person there is asking one question there, but all the ordinary students are giving normal answers only, but one extraordinary student has given answer there. The point is, tell me something about you as a question there. But everybody they are trying to give their information there, but he rejected every person there. But one person, he has given information to that interviewer. Already I given my resume to you. Why you are asking this question to me? But he was selected. But don't take inspiration from that video. If you take that inspiration from that video, your life will be different. Reality is different. That is only for the sake of views, for the sake of drama. That kind of things are going on. That is not reality. That is only fiction. That is only drama, scripted. But when we go for interviewer, if you say the same answer to that interviewer, next minute you will not be there in that interviewer hall. Huh? Tell me something about, in the sense, you have to present yourself. But you should not say the answer already given resume, check it in the resume, in the sense, nobody will accept it. It's a overhead, even not a head weight, no overhead weight. Then people may think about it like this. Attitude problem. Fine. So leave it, sir. That some other time I will talk with you regarding that issue, how to face that interviews. We have some kind of conventions we have to follow in that interviews also. No, I will talk about it later on. But at present, now come for a point here. Yeah. Now the point is what? You are already in a project. Maybe then you had already some sufficient duration with that company. You plan to move out from the company. Okay, all formalities you filled and everything is okay. But unfortunate thing is what there, you are in the middle of that project. That project was not completed, you are in the middle, up to some part of the implementation you participated. Now the situation for you is what there, you have to be outside of that particular company. You had very good alternative there in outside, you went to that alternative. Okay, going on good. But in your chair, who has to come? Definitely some new person will come to your chair or not? Definitely one new person will come to your position in the project or not? Okay, that new person has to analyze your work. He has to start again the same work, not again restarting the work. No, he has to continue your work. If you want to continue your work, first of all, you should know something about your project or not. Of course, KT might be available there for that particular person. Knowledge transformation might be available. Already domain knowledge was provided here. Maybe 1 week out of induction program may be conducted with that company. During that induction program, you will get some domain knowledge on which project is working there. Maybe might be some kind of sessions he has to take. That everything is completed, but he has to continue your work. To continue your work, what we have to do there? He has to open the Java file. Some part you have implemented already. Then he has to he has to continue from that point now. If he want to continue the remaining part, he should know something about that implementation or not. If we provide already some description, it is very easy for him to continue our work. If I have not provided any description there, then he has to check each and every, and he has to identify for what purpose this implementation is available. That everything he has to analyze. So it's somewhat difficult for the new members. So because of this, all these many reasons, always it is suggestible to provide some description about our code in the Java file before going to start our implementation. At a starting point of your file, definitely it should be some description about our code. That's the point I'm telling there. In Java application development, before writing code, it's convention to provide some description about the project that includes author name, objective of the implementation, project details, module details, and so on in the Java file. and so on and so on and so on in the Java file. For providing this, for this I am telling there, for this we have to use, comment section. For this we have to use what there? Comment section. Where for this we have to use comment section, where we have to use comments. Where we have to use what there? Comments. In comment section, definitely here we have to use what there? Comments only. Then immediately we have a question. What is a comment? What is the meaning of a comment? Tell me guys, what is the meaning of this comment here? No? Alright, observe carefully. Comment is what there? Unexecutable part or non-executable part. Unexecutable part or simply non-executable part. Non-executable part in Java programming. Java programming is what there is a comment. Comment is not executable. JVM will not execute it. Comments are not executable. Non-executable part in Java programming is what there is a comment. One small note here I'm telling you, observe carefully. In Java applications, comments and their description is not for processing or not for executing the code, not for executing the code, not for any processing, comma. It is for understanding. It is for understanding to the developers. It is for understanding to the developers about the code. It is for understanding the developers about the code. Answer my point here now. So comment is for understanding the developers about the code. That means comments are providing some description that is useful to the developer to understand your code, to monitor your code. Get my point or not? That is a requirement of like what there these comments can. Otherwise, it's not for any processing point of view. It's not for any business implementation point of view. It's not for any execution point of view. No. Everybody understand my point here? In Java applications, comments and their description is not for executing the code. It is for understanding about this, understanding the developers about the code here. That's the point here we have to understand. Okay, fine, that's okay. But how many types of comments are available in Java? There are 3 types of comments in Java. How many types of comments are available? 3 types of comments in Java. First one is single line comment. Second one is multi-line comment. And the third one is what there? Documentation comment. These are overall 3 types of comments here we are having. Let's see all the 3 types of comments. No, first one is like what there? Single line comment. What is this single line comment actually? It allows the description in a single line. How much description you want to provide, you can provide, but it should be in a single line. Okay. Then what next one here? Syntax. What is the syntax of the single line comment? You know, 2 slashes, and we can write what there? Some description. 2 forward slashes, then we can write what there? Description. Simple example here I'm telling to you, try to understand it clearly. For example, I'm going to take like what there? Class calculator. Class I have taken, for example. Class is what there? Calculator. Now inside this calculator, I want to take something else like what there? Enter add of into FL comma into SL. Okay. Now get. I'll provide something else, some implementation also here I'm going to provide. Return FL plus SL semicolon. Okay. Next one is like what there? After this, now I want to give some information about this ad. Some detail, some description, just one line description, a simple description. It adds 2 integer values, or it will add 2 integer values and return the resultant. That means when I open this Java code, when I see this add method, directly I have to get some information. What information I have to get there? It will add 2 integer values. That's it. That's enough. Only some description, just a spark. That's it. This is about like what there single line comment, not more than this. Okay, fine. Next one is what there multi-line comment. Multi-line comment. What is this multi-line comment actually? What exactly the purpose of this multi-line comment here? All of you understand it clearly. It allows the complete description. It allows the complete description in more than one line. It allows the complete description in more than one line. Fine. Syntax, if you observe this, slash star, some description here we have to provide. Then after that, star slash is ending symbol. Star slash description. Then what next one here? Star slash. This is like what their multi-line comment. Let's say for example, the same example here I'm going to take the calculator, class calculator here we are going to take. Inside this class calculator, I want to take something else like what there public void add of, not void here. I want to take something else like what there int first value comma int second value. This I'm able to take. Here we can go with like what there return first value plus second value semicolon. Like this my code I have written here. Understand it clearly. Now here about this add method I want to provide some description. What is the description here I want to provide there? We can understand it now. First of all, I want to write some description like what there method name. What is the method name here now? Add, for example. Next one is what there parameters. What are the parameters here now? First value, comma second value. Okay, parameter types also here we can provide there. Depends on your requirement. Parameter types into comma into. Next one is what there return type. What is the return type here? We are able to provide there int. Then after this method name is okay. Next one is what there we can write like what there purpose or maybe objective. Anything here we can write now. It adds two integer values like this and so on. Some other details also here we can provide there. Now tell me my description. I have provided the total description in a how many lines now? Multiple lines. More than one line here I provided. To provide this type of description, single line comment is not sufficient. To provide this type of description, single line comment is not sufficient. There we have to use what there multi-line comments. More than one line we provide our description, so there we have to provide what there multi-line comment. This is another one here we can understand. So okay, fine. Now observe carefully. The next one is like what there documentation comment. Documentation comment. What exactly this documentation comment here? What is this documentation comment actually? All of you observe carefully. Documentation comment. It allows the completed description in more than one page, not like more than one line, not like in a single line, in more than one page. Observe carefully. What is its syntax actually? Slash double star. Ending one is what there star slash. Between the start symbol and end symbol, we have to write lines of data. Some pages of data we have to write, but every line should start with what there star. Every line should start with what there star, and so on and so on and so on. Every line should start with like what there star. So all of you are getting it or not? So slash double star star slash. Now this is what exactly the content here we have to follow. Sir, all of you are following or not? All right, that's okay, fine. This is like what there documentation comment. It allows the complete description in more than one page. Now this is a comment here we are able to use. But understand it, where we are going to use these documentation comments actually. where we are able to use these documentation comments. No, I'll give some example. Try to understand it. No, in Java, documentation comments are useful when we prepare. Documentation comments are useful to provide some description about the programming elements while creating API documentation for the present project, for the present application. Come again, what's the point I'm saying to you? In Java, documentation comments are useful to provide some description about the programming elements while creating API documentation for the present application. Come again. In Java, documentation comments are useful to provide some description about the programming elements. More clarity I'm giving there. Programming elements like variables, methods, classes, and so on, which we used in the present application while creating API documentation for the present application. The point is, for the present application, I'm preparing API documentation. In the API documentation, I want to give some description about the programming elements. To provide this description about the programming elements in the API documentation, there we have to use what their documentation comments. Programmatical, I'm able to show this point. But first of all, understand it. Now I have a word here actually. What is this word actually? Now check this one. API documentation. What is this API documentation first? After that, we will understand how documentation comments are useful in the API documentation. First of all, what is this API documentation? Listen, all of you listen carefully. API documentation is a document. It may be a text document, of course, as per the definition I'm telling there. It may be a text document, or it may be a PDF file, PDF document, or it may be an HTML file or HTML document, or a doc file, and so on. It may be anything, but it will provide some description about the programming elements which we used in the present application. It will provide some description about the programming elements which we used in the present application. So we are given the same definition for documentation comments also. That means documentation comments also we are given the same definition. For API documentation also we are given the same definition. Yes, of course, the same content, but the point is what? While preparing API documentation to provide the description of the present elements, present programming elements, we have to use documentation comments. Definitely by using documentation comments only, we are going to prepare what their API documentation. So almost the similar point here we are able to understand. Okay, fine. Now I'm giving one point here. Try to understand it clearly. To provide description about all Java predefined elements, Java has provided API documentation. Java has provided a separate API documentation. That's it. To provide description about all Java predefined elements, Java has provided API documentation. What exactly the Java API documentation is available? Where it is available actually? From where we are able to get this API documentation? All right. Directly we can search in the internet, Google it. Then definitely we are able to get the Java API documentation. Of course, we can download this one also. We can download this also later on, but If you want to see that API documentation directly, we can open it. Now here, what we are doing now, just I want to go for it, Java 8 API documentation. For example, I want to click on it. Java SE platform API documentation here I want to get. Yeah, this is like what their API document. This is totally predefined libraries API document. This is about packages part. Package is nothing but collection of classes and interfaces. Am I right or not? If we select a package here, the respective classes and interfaces are coming here. If you select any class or interface here, its a description is available here. Overall, three parts are available: packages, classes, and description area. For example, I want to select something else like what there, java.lang package. Inside this java.lang package, java.lang package is selected. No. Inside the java.lang package, so many classes and interfaces are available. Now I want to go for like what there is a string is a class here. String is a class in the case of Java. If I click on the string class now, here we are getting the description about like what there string. Some information here we are getting there. Okay, details here. The string class represents character strings. All string letters in Java programs such as ABC are the implemented as instances of this class as something else now. Some details about the string class. Next one is after this. It was introduced in which version of the Java? 1.0 version. Okay. All right, sir. Then now field and description variables are available. Only one variable, case sensitive order. Constructors, string, so many constructors are available. So observe carefully here. We are getting some message now deprecated. It may be useful for us in the future also. Now understand it clearly. What is the meaning of deprecated? Now tell me. Deprecated. They are giving some information. Please understand that a deprecation message. No. Later on, I will give the meaning of this deprecation. First of all, understand it. What is the meaning of this deprecation here? No. This method does not properly converted bytes into characters. That constructor actually, as of JDK 1.1, the preferred way to do this is via string constructors that take a char set. Char set name or that use the platform's default char set. Whatever it may be, some message is available. About this here we are getting what their deprecation message. Some information here we are getting. So what is the meaning of this one? Deprecated library or a deprecated method or a deprecated class. If you are getting this kind of names now, the point is what? Some classes or some libraries are defined or provided at the initial versions of the Java. Say for example 1.0 version of the Java. In the later versions, they find some problems with these initial libraries and they have given some alternatives for it in the later versions. Get my point or not? In the later versions, they have given some alternatives for this method. They find some problems with this existed one, so they provided some alternatives. Got my point or not? But how developers knows about it? No. One thing, either they have to open documentation, they have to check each and every method, then only they are able to get the point. But what these people are doing there, what Java people have done there, even after providing alternatives also, still developers are using old library, then immediately they made it as a deprecated. Immediately this deprecation message, whatever the message is provided here, the deprecation message will be provided when they compile the program. Understand my point here? Even after providing alternatives, still developers are using the same deprecated, outdated content there. When they're using that outdated library in their project now, immediately some deprecation message will be displayed to the developer. This is somewhat outdated. It no longer be available in the future. Already we have given some alternatives. Please try to check that alternatives. Yes, sir, right or not? So this is the meaning of like what they're deprecated. Even that information is also be provided inside like what they're inside our respective content. So whatever it may be, now this is like what I'm telling to you, deprecated library here we are getting, but so many things are available. Again, here also we are getting some deprecated kind of content here. We can understand clearly. Okay, fine. Methods are available. Caret, code point h, and code point before something else, something else. different methods are available here. Number of methods are available here inside our content here. Okay, fine. All right, so not only this, now here if we click on this java.io, in java.io, like what there, buffered reader is existed here. This we are going to use frequently in iOS streams now. So about some content here, about this one, reads the text from a character input stream, buffering characters so as to provide for the efficient reading of the characters, arrays and lines. Okay, like this. Now different options here now. It was introduced in which version of the Java here now? 1.1 version of the Java. Since in the sense 1. Which version of Java it was introduced there? 1.1 version of the Java. All right, so some other details are available, constructors, methods, and so on and so on and so on. So many things are existed here that we can understand. So this is like what there, Java API documentation. Now this is available in this particular link. Java API documentation is available in this what there particular link that we can open and that we can check it clearly. All of you get my point or not? One small difference I am telling there, observe carefully. Around 10 years back, if we take now, in the companies, how development is going on, 10 to 15 years back, if we observe the companies, these many tools are not available to write the programs, to write the applications. At present, so many tools are available. Development is very simple at present. But 10 to 15 years back, no, development is not much simple. This much of environment is not available to prepare the applications. Everything the developers have to write the code. Everything developers have to write the code. To write the code, the developers what they are doing there, just simple. In one browser, in one tab, they used to open the Java documentation. In another IDE, they are going to write the programs. When they require anything, no, they used to open the documentation. There they will check the methods. They are able to use the required methods in their application. This kind of analysis is going on. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? But nowadays, so many repositories are available, code repositories. So many code repositories are available. In the company, there is a separate repository, or maybe in outside also some separate repositories are available. So many repositories. If we search for some code in that repositories, no, bundles and bundles of code is available. That's what developers are doing there. Just simple copy and paste, debug it. That's it. Nobody is writing the code totally. Ashama band no. Just they'll search in the Google. Simple in the Google they used to search no. So many bundles, might be bundles and bundles of code is available. Just they can get the relevant code. They will paste into the application. They will debug it. Of course, it is a recommended at present now. Even though the tools are available to provide code there, still I want to write program in the sense nobody will accept it. If tools are available, see for simplifying the work, if any environment is available, then that we have to use, that we have to adapt. I get my point or not? For example, if the comfortable environment is already available, why we should go for the difficult approach no? By skipping this comfortable environment, by skipping simple environment. A simplified approach is there. Why don't we go for the simplified approach? Try to make use of it. Then if we use that, automatically our work will be simple. Time will be saved. Understand my point? You know? So in the software companies, everything related with the time. Time is very important. Deadlines will come. Once the deadlines are coming there, you should work hard. You should complete it on time. Otherwise, unnecessary problems will come. Unnecessary problems is nothing is going to be happen, but definitely pressure will come. Sir, all of you are getting it or not? What I'm telling there. So these kind of things are going to be happen. So whatever it may be, in the point here, what I'm telling to you, coming to our point here. So now documentation comments I'm talking there. Documentation comments are useful to provide some description about the programming elements like variables, methods, classes, and so on, which we used in the present application while creating API documentation for the present application. Then immediately I have a doubt. What about this API documentation? API documentation is a document. It may be a text document, or it may be a PDF document, or it may be an HTML document, or a doc file, or it may be a doc file. It will provide some description about the programming elements which we used in the present application. Next one is for Java predefined library. Is there any documentation now? Yes, there is a documentation for Java predefined library. For Java 8 version, this documentation is available. Open it and we can check for your required content. Okay, fine. And one more point I'm telling there. To simplify the API documentation, creation, Java has provided, or instead of saying that to simplify, or to prepare the API documentation, to prepare the API documentation, for the present application, Java has provided a predefined command in the form of Java doc. To prepare API documentation for the applications, Java has provided a command in the form of like what there, Java doc. How we are going to use that Java doc? Java doc space filename.java. Filename.java. Automatically, the documentation will be created for the respective Java file. But how it is able to provide that documentation actually? Java doc command is able to prepare API documentation in the form of HTML files. Java doc command is able to prepare API documentation in the form of what files there? HTML files. That's it. Observe carefully. There we are able to see like what there some HTML files kind of content. So automatically we are able to open it. We are able to check the content. Got it or not? All right, sir. One more point I'm going to show. Of course, I will show in programmatic way. Try to understand it now. First of all, tell me how many comments are available in Java? Come on, 3 comments now. What are the 3 comments now? Single line comment, multi-line comment, documentation comment. Out of all the comments in Java, out of all the types of comments, or out of all the types of comments in Java, only documentation comments provided description will be included in the API documentation that we created from Java doc command. Please recognize my statement here. Out of all the types of comments in Java, only documentation comments provided description will be included in the API documentation that we created from the Java doc command. For example, in my Java program, I provided single line comment, multi-line comment, documentation comment for some description. For the Java application, I'm preparing API documentation. In this API documentation, what description here we are able to have? Is that single line comment provided description? Is that multi-line comment provided description? Or is that documentation comment provided description? What type of description is going to be included in the API documentation? If you come for this particular point, answer is very clear. Only documentation comments provided description will be included in the API documentation. Not single line comments provided description, not multi-line comments provided description. That's the point here I given there. Out of all the types of comments in Java, only documentation comments provided description will be included in the API documentation that we created from the Java doc command. Clear? All right, sir. Now it's a practical we have to show. I will take one program, namesake program. Inside this, I will include all 3 types of documents. Then I will prepare API documentation for the program. I will open the API documentation. There we will see documentation provided description. Not single line comment provided description, not multi-line comment provided description. Only documentation comment provided description only we can see in the API documentation. That I have to show that. If I show that, this total maximum part of the comment section is going to be completed. So, are you getting it or not? Okay, this remaining part I'll discuss with you tomorrow. Still, this comment section is not yet completed. Few more points are remaining. I'll discuss about that few more points. After completion of this few more points, then I have to go with what there package section, import section, classes and interfaces section. Only these sections here we are remaining here. If I complete this all content here, introduction part is going to be completed. When introduction part is completed there, I'll put one exam on this total introduction part. One written test I will conduct there. where we have to participate and we have to get our score on this, how much you understood there clearly. After that, immediately I will start steps to prepare first application. In the steps to prepare first Java application, how to download Java software, how to install Java software. Then after this, how to write program, how to compile program, and how to execute program. Everything I'm going to discuss with you clearly. Right, then after that, language fundamentals then. Meanwhile, I'll start object orientation at 10 o'clock. I said you already, after a few days of time, I'm going to take your classes at 10 o'clock there. That very soon I'm planning for that also. Almost all we can expect it, not immediately here, in the next week. Not in this week. In the next week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Between these days, no, I'm going to take your classes. I'm going to start your class at what time there? At 10 o'clock also. But I will give that intimation to you clearly. Okay. Right, sir. That's all for today, guys. Then we'll meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow is the remaining part. Thank you. అయిపోయింది చూడు బ్యాటరీ. Yeah, then for online students also will provide exam, guys. I will send that question paper to you so that you can check it. Okay, don't worry. Then on the day, exactly on that exam time, I'll share that question paper to you so that you can write it. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Sureka, are you getting my point there? What I said to you? Now for online people also exam is going to be happen. On that exactly on that day on that time I'll share that question to you, question paper to you. Okay, fine. Thank you.